Hello, this is Professor BRB, and in this video we'll be learning how to create a heart icon from a base shape of a circle drawn with the ellipse tool. If you do not have this template, you can just work on your own file. If you would like to have the template, you can download it from the link on the playlist on YouTube. If you're on the template, go to artboard number 3, Heart. And the first thing that we're going to do is draw a circle. So choose the ellipse tool, which is under the rectangle tool. And I've set my fill up here to pink so I can see what's going on. And you can just start at the crosshairs here. Hold down your shift key to constrain it to a perfect circle and draw a circle. I am working with my smart guides turned on, which is why we can see all of those little green lines. And just go ahead and turn on your smart guides if they're not turned on. Under the view menu, just make sure smart guides is checked. So let's go to our direct selection tool, and when I click on the control points of this circle, I can see how Illustrator has drawn this circle by creating 4 points that have control handles. I just want to delete this bottom point, and that will create a half a circle. So with my direct selection tool, I can click off to make sure nothing else is selected and click this bottom anchor point and just hit the delete key on my keyboard. And right there, I have a half a circle. It's just what I want. So let's grab this with our selection tool, the black arrow, hold down our Shift and Option keys, and move it over. This is called option dragging. You can see my cursor has a little double black and white arrow there, and that indicates that the shape is going to be copied. And make sure that you release your mouse button before you release the your keyboard keys. Next, we're going to use the arc tool to draw the arc that makes the bottom half of the heart. And that lives under the line segment tool. The line segment tool can only make straight lines, which isn't what we want because we want to be able to edit a curve. But it's a useful tool if that's what you need. But in this case, we're going to choose the arc tool. And zoom in on our work so we can see what we're doing. Choose the arc tool here. I'm going to give it just a color fill, like a yellow fill, so that I can kind of see what I'm doing. So with my arc tool, I'm going to hover over the left side of my circle until I see some little green type pop up from Smart Guides that says anchor. And at that point, I know that I am perfectly positioned to connect these two shapes, and I just click and drag. If it's not going the way that you expect it to, you can hit the F key and that flips the arc. So just click and drag and try and end right about where this guideline is here. And going to our direct selection tool, click off and then click on, and that activates the control handles that Illustrator has given me with the arc tool. And if I grab this bottom control handle, all I have to do to make my heart shape now, the bottom half of my heart, is just drag it up. And I don't know what happened to my fill there, but let's just fill that. So you can see how it works. Now, at this point, these are 2 separate open paths, and they are not connected. So it really can never be filled in the way that I want it to, because I want to make this all filled with one color. So this is a shape that's filled with pink, and this fill is cutting across here because these 2 shapes aren't connected. To join these 2 paths, I need to join the 2 points that are sitting on top of each other right now, the 2 anchor points. So to do that, I take my direct selection tool, click off and make sure nothing is selected, and then just draw a little marquee to make sure only those 2 points are selected. And I can see I've got a solid anchor point there. That means it's selected. Hollow anchor point, not selected. So with that selected, I choose Object, Path, Join, and you'll see this will make a dramatic difference in the fill here. Boom. So now this is an open path that forms exactly half of my heart. And I'm going to select it with the selection tool. So I see my bounding box here. I know everything is selected. And instead of going through the work of drawing this half a heart all over again, I'm going to just reflect it. If you go under your rotate tool here, you'll find your reflect tool. We're going to hover over that point until Smart Guides gives us the indication that we're directly over our anchor point. Hold down your Option or your Alt key if you're on a PC and click. This will bring up the Reflect dialog box. You want to set it to vertical, copy. Now we've got two hearts, but you can see from the gradient that it's not a single fill. I'm going to zoom in a little here. Direct selection tool. These two points should be in exactly the same position. So all I need to do is select them and join them, and then do the same thing at the bottom. So I click off with direct selection, draw a marquee around those 2 points, Object, Path, Join. Okay, you can see that changed the way the gradient's displaying. I only have one more thing to do down here, which is join these two. But as I look into it, I see that I have a little problem here. My points are not in exactly the same position, and if I join them from this point, Illustrator is going to draw a line between those 2 points. I don't want that, so I'm going to show you how to average them. Click off, select with the direct selection tool only those 2 points, Object, Path, Average. Average on both axes, that's fine. Okay. Now those are in exactly the same position. They're still selected. Object, Path, Join. By the way, if you leave a stroke on this, you can control, if you go to the stroke panel over here and show options, you can control the way that the stroke displays. It's just kind of nice to know. So let's go back and have a little overview of what we've accomplished here. We've got a pretty great looking heart here. I'm going to get rid of the stroke on it. I don't really want the stroke. But now that you have your heart icon, you can do all kinds of things to it or with it. You can fill it with different fills. If you have a gradient on it, as I do on this one, you can go to your gradient tool and control the way the gradient displays. All kinds of things that you can do with the gradient tool. We'll go into that in a little more detail in another lesson. You basically have a great looking heart, so congratulations. In our next little quick tutorial, I'm going to show you how to take this heart and use it to create a rather interesting illustration of a chrysanthemum flower. So you can continue to adjust this heart any way you want, and I hope that I'll see you for the next lesson.